President Trump is beginning to dominate the Rust Belt even better than he did in 2016. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the counties that were key to Trump's victory in 2016. Counties that voted for every single Democrat presidential candidate for the last 30 years, which then suddenly defected and voted for Trump in 2016. We're going to see how some of those counties are doing now, and we're going to find out why 2020 may be a bigger blowout than anyone could have ever imagined. You are not going to want to miss this. Welcome everyone, Dr. Steve here with you, ready to bring you our latest episode celebrating the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. If you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a regular part of this channel where each and every day we focus on optimism and encouragement in the midst of all the defeatist fake news nonsense spewed out by the mainstream media. But first, if you, like millions of others, are going keto, then you know how hard the diet is to follow, cutting out all those lovely carbs, the bread, right? The wonderful bread. But now you can get all the benefits of elevated ketone levels, but without having to actually do the difficult parts of the keto diet, thanks to our sponsor, Keto Elevate. I use it myself. I put it in my coffee every morning. Tastes great, curbs my appetite for hours. Now, if you click on that link below, you can get your very first shipment of Keto Elevate on its way to you right now with a whopping 51% off the regular price. So don't wait. It is a limited time offer. Click on that link below and reap the rewards that Keto Elevate can bring to your life today. All right, so let's dive right in here. Let me set the parameters of our discussion. I think you're really going to like this. One of my favorite studies from the 2016 election is what's called the Great Revolt Study. It was published in 2018 by authors Selena Zito and Brad Todd. It's an excellent study, a real micro-level deep dive study into the various factors that led to President Trump's shock win over Hillary Clinton. And what they do is they open their study by citing a representative example that happened all over the country. But they cite as their opening example what happened in Ashtabula County, Ohio, which is on the eastern side of the state near Pennsylvania. For the last 30 years, Ashtabula County was a safe, solid blue county for Democrats, okay? In the past, voters there voted overwhelmingly for Dukakis and Al Gore. They voted twice for Clinton, Bill Clinton, right? They voted for Kerry. They gave Barack Obama 55% of their vote twice in a row. But then in 2016, to everyone's shock, the voters of Ashtabula County defected from that voting pattern and voted for Donald Trump over Clinton by a landslide margin of 57 to 38%. Okay, nearly a 20-point margin, which represented a 31-point swing from the Democrat candidate to the Republican candidate. And the important point here is detailed in the Great Revolt Study, is that what happened in Ashtabula County happened over and over and over again. It happened in 35 counties throughout Ohio, 23 counties in Wisconsin, 32 counties in Iowa, 12 counties in Michigan, 19 counties in Minnesota, all of whom voted for the Democrat presidential candidate in every single election since the 1980s, but all of a sudden switched over and voted for Trump in 2016. All told, of the nearly 700 counties that twice sent Obama to the White House, a stunning 1/3 flipped to support Trump. Trump also won 194 of the 207 counties that voted for Obama either in 2008 or 2012. And what political analysts notice here is that this political earthquake represented nothing less than a major political paradigm shift where white working class voters left the Democrats in droves. These counties were heavily blue collar and working class, overwhelmingly turned to Trump in 2016. According to the study done by the British political scholars Roger Eatwell and Matthew Goodwin, white voters without college degrees comprised 2/3 of Trump's base in the primaries and an astonishing 3/5 of his base in the general election. And here's the key. Hillary Clinton lost among white voters without college degrees so badly that even if she had received Obama's turnout among blacks, she still would have lost. All right, let me say that again because I think it's so pivotal to understand what's going on right now with 2020 in the election with Joe Biden. Hillary Clinton lost among white voters without college degrees so badly that even if she received Obama's turnout among blacks, she still would have lost. So now that the voting has begun for the 2020 election, one of the key metrics that we want to focus on is how Trump is doing in those counties that were reliable Democrat counties for the past 30 years, but that defected to Trump in 2016, which was pivotal for giving him the electoral victory. Remember, Trump was the first Republican presidential candidate to break 300 electoral votes since 1988. So how is Trump doing in those Rust Belt counties? Well, let's go back to Ashtabula County, shall we? Let's take a look at the latest. Here's a chart of where Ashtabula County stands as of October 22nd. Take a look. So you've got three clusters of graphs, okay? The Democrats on the left, Republicans in the middle, and independents on, or in unaffiliated on the right. You've got a sort of mid-blue colored column in each cluster. That represents the early voting percentage in 2016. You got a light blue column in the middle, okay? That's from the midterms in 2018. And you've got now a dark blue column, which is the voting tally thus far in the early voting in 2020. Both mail-in ballots as well as in-person early voting on the right. So look at the percentage of the vote in 2016 that gave Trump that near 19-point victory. Trump won Ashtabula County in 2016 by nearly 20 points, with 50% Democrat and 35% Republican turnout. This is what stunned pollsters and pundits. The polls in 2016 did not forecast this level of defection among Democrats in rural counties like Ashtabula. Democrats had a 15-point advantage over Republicans, and the county voted Trump by 19 points. So keep that in mind. A 50% Democrat, 35% Republican turnout gave Trump a near 20-point victory in 2016. Look at the numbers as of today. 46% Democrat turnout, 43% Republican. That 15-point advantage for Democrats in 2016 has collapsed now to 3 points. And if a 15-point Democrat advantage gave Trump a 19-point victory, what on earth do you think a 3-point differential is going to give him? I mean, gang, this is utterly crazy. How about the state of Ohio as a whole? Look at these numbers. Maybe this explains it. The Democrats are down 8 points from 2016. They're actually underperforming 2016 early vote turnout, while Republicans are exceeding it by 5 points. Republicans are currently beating Democrats in early voting turnout by 3 points, 45 to 42. Now, again, why is this significant? It's not just that Republicans are beating Democrats. It's that Trump won Ohio by 9 points in 2016 with 48% Democrat and 41% Republican early vote turnout. Now let that hit you. Trump won Ohio with a 7-point Democrat advantage in the early voting. And as we sit today, the Republicans now have a 3-point advantage. So how much do you think Trump is poised to win Ohio by this time? I mean, it's literally insane. Make no mistake, this is a nightmare scenario for Biden, okay? Trump is doing significantly better in 2020 in a traditionally Democrat county that voted for him by 19 points in 2016. And he's ahead by 3 points in a state that back in 2016 had a 7-point early vote Democrat advantage that nevertheless ended up voting for Trump by 9 points. That's where we are at this point in the election in Ohio. That's the kind of blowout we could potentially be seeing developing here, okay? And just to make sure we've covered our bases here, there's an extensive study by the Swing Voter Project from an organization called Engageus. It was just published, and this was a 6-month survey of battleground swing voters. So these are voters who voted for Obama in 2012, but who then defected and voted for Trump in 2016, like Ashtabula County. And the study, again, conducted over 6 months, found that 68%, that's nearly 70% of swing voters that were polled in Minnesota, Ohio, right, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, are definitely voting for Donald Trump again in 2020. So we can be fairly certain that at least 70% of these Democrat swing voters are voting Trump. In terms of Republicans, that number's 94%, since that's the total that Trump got in the 2020 primaries. Biden only got 50%. I don't know if you know that, in the primary vote for the Democrats. But of course, Ashtabula County is not alone. Look at these numbers from Macomb County, Michigan. Now again, a formerly reliable Democrat county that voted for Trump in 2016 with an early vote turnout of 40% Democrats, 30% Republicans. Look at this county as of today. Now, again, these numbers can change, but look at this. Republicans are up 45% to 41% in early voting. Now, do you think Macomb County is ready to vote Trump again? It certainly looks like it. It's even more dramatic over in Lake County, Michigan. Look at this. Trump won Lake County with Republican early voting beating out Democrat by 3 points, 35 to 32%. Look at the number today. Republicans are stomping Democrats by 15 points, 49 to 34. But it keeps going. Even in counties where the Democrats are ahead, they're still falling short of 2016 numbers which gave Trump the win. So, for example, this is how you read these things. It's really interesting. In Kenosha County, Wisconsin, Democrats are currently beating Republicans 46% to 28%. So that means Democrats are beating Republicans by 18 points. Now, you might say, oh, that looks horrible, doesn't it? Is that terrible? But not when you're looking at benchmarks. In 2016, when Kenosha County voted for Trump over Hillary, they did so with Democrats outperforming Republicans 53% to 34%. In other words, Trump won Kenosha County even when the Democrats had beat the Republicans in early voting by 19 points. So that's just a snapshot of where we are today in terms of counties that had voted for every single Democratic presidential candidate over the last 30 years, but who defected and voted for Trump in 2016. In many of these counties, Trump is overperforming the numbers he got in 2016. And that's what we're going to continue to keep our eye on. Okay, that's going to be our focus. How is Trump doing in these counties that were once so reliably blue, but turned red in 2016? If all signs show that the majority of them are ready to turn red once again, and perhaps even by a greater margin, we're looking just days from now at far more than just a repeat of 2016. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And you will definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it on how the mainstream media and big tech's attempt to censor the Hunter Biden story has backfired big time. You're not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.